Welcome everyone to today's Hedera community call. I'm Luke Forrest from the Hashgraph DevRel team. Today we're exploring how reliable infrastructure and developer tools like Lava Network and Reown help builders unlock Hedera's full potential. Today we're joined by Yair Klepper, who is the co-founder of Magma Devs and contributor to the Lava Network. He'll be joining us a little bit later on in the call. And also Rohit, who is the head of developer relations at Reown. Let's kick things off with some quick introductions. Rohit, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what brought you to the Hedera ecosystem?
Yeah, of course. Look, first of all, thanks for having me. As you already mentioned, my name is Rohit. I lead the developer relations team at Wallet Connect and Reown. I've had a couple of years of experience working in Web3. I think it's been a little over 4 years, which I guess is like 10 years in corporate or Web2. So that's been very fun. Before this, I used to work more on the research and academia side of machine learning and natural language processing, which is a completely different world in entirety before ChatGPT made such tremendous stride. I've been at Wallet Connect for a little over 1 year now, and I'm more bullish than I've ever been, just purely because of all the things that we've been shipping so far. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into that as we proceed with the call.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing about it. And just to give everyone a little bit of context before we jump into the discussion, today's stream is open to both the general and technical audience. The goal is to help everyone, not just developers, understand the importance and impact of the work you're doing within the Hedera ecosystem. So as we go through the topics, feel free to explain things in a way that connects both the technical value and the broader implications of users and builders. So Rohit, for those that might not know Reown yet, what does it offer to the Hedera developer community?
Yeah, if I have to keep it super simple, the primary offering would be authentication, user login, or signups. So what this would look like for an end user is once a project integrates with Reown, they would basically have the traditional Connect Wallet button flow where the user clicks on Connect Wallet. They have 500 plus of different wallets to pick from. On top of that, they could have embedded wallets as an option. So they could sign up or sign in with Google, social media like Discord, Forecast, or Twitter. And yeah, within this model, there's like embedded features like dedicated on-ramp, in-app swaps, and things like that I can dive in on a bit later.
Awesome. And how exactly is Reown improving the developer experience, so from a DevX point of view?
Yeah, I think traditionally the goal for Wallet Connect as a company and Reown was to solve how fragmented the connection experience was. So if you've been in the industry for quite some time, I think people are aware of how difficult it was to actually allow users to connect to your Web3 applications, let alone interact with it. So early on, before you had like a standardized way or a provider to integrate different wallets, you had to manually piece together each wallet that you wanted to support. So if, let's say you wanted to support MetaMask or Trust, you have to do this individually for each wallet you want to support. The problem with that is, when you do that, you assume that these are the wallets that your users are going to bring into the picture. So that causes a lot of churn, because if, let's say, I'm a Binance user, I don't really want to move my account or set up a new wallet just to interact with your application. With Reown and Wallet Connect, you have a dedicated option of 500 different wallets to pick from. And for Hedera users, this is just a piece of cake for them to use not only Kabila or any of the other wallets that are available, but for Hedera EVM, like you could just use any existing EVM wallet, which I think is a huge win. So you can use your Trust wallet, MetaMask, 1inch, anything that you wish.
It just bridges them all together into one easy way.
Exactly.
And everyone, I think Yair has joined the call now, so we're going to bring him onto stage, and he's going to do an introduction as well.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Not bad. Not bad. Calling here from New York.
Glad to hear it. Could you give us a little introduction about yourselves and give a quick intro about Lava?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Yair Klepper. I'm co-founder at Magma Devs. We are contributor to the Lava network, and what brought me in the space, I'm by training computer engineer and build a few startups. And when jumping into the crypto ecosystem, 4 years ago, I realized that there is a language to how you communicate with the blockchains, and this language is called RPC, Remote Procedure Call. And I was really surprised that the promise of the ethos of blockchains were like to kind of give access with private, always on, and redundant service, but everyone who needs to run those services, basically it's super fragmented. So if I'm going to Ethereum, I need to find my node runners there. I need to run my own nodes. If I'm going to Hedera, same process. And if I go to smallest nascent chains, I'm finding it even much more fragmented, right? So the idea of building Lava was to get a single access layer, aggregating different RPC provider and make them compete for the quality of service. So they get rewards for the quality of service. We started building that 3 years ago. Today we support dozens of different blockchains and doing billions of calls. We just celebrated 150 billion requests since mainnet. So I'm super glad to be here and tell you more about what we can do with Hedera community.
For sure, yeah. No, glad you're here. And Rohit, going back to Reown, how is Reown helping simplify the developer experience and accelerate building on Hedera?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to show a demo before I proceed with my analysis, but let me share my screen. Second. I think it's visible, right?
There we go, yeah.
So yeah, there's a simple demo of Reown in action. So this is a maxed out model which has all the features configured by default. So for an end user, this is what they would see, right? They can either choose to interact with embedded wallets as an option, so they could use Google, X, Discord, Farcaster, or any of the other social platforms available as sign up or sign in.
Yeah.
Or they could use an existing wallet, so they could click on continue with wallet. The traditional Wallet Connect QR code is available for someone who's using it on their mobile, or you could just pick any of the other wallets, and you can see there's over 500 different wallets. So I'm just going to pick the easiest one, which is MetaMask. So here is where multi-chain comes into the picture. So not only is it available on EVM networks, it's also multi-chain with Solana and Bitcoin compatibility. So once you select EVM, it's going to open the pop-up. I don't think you can see the pop-up, but once I do connect, it's just going to connect that right away. And the same for Phantom with Solana or any of the other chains. So as you see, when I clicked on Phantom and clicked on this, it instantly connected right away. So this is how easy it is to connect different wallets and switch between them seamlessly. And as for developers, the best part is that integrating Reown is going to take less than 5 minutes for Hedera developers. So we have a dedicated CLI that allows you to set up AppKit and Reown in your local computer and basically run that and play around with it and then go to production. So it's extremely straightforward, and I can share the docs link with you guys, and you can just share that with your audience. But yeah, it's super easy to integrate this. It's less than 50 lines of code for you to spin up Reown into your project.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That sounds really good. And can you share how Reown's tools connect with the broader Hedera ecosystem and help developers build more easily and effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best part about Hedera EVM is that it's quite obvious, and it's in the name, is that it's EVM compatible. So as a Hedera developer is building this, they want to provide as native of an in-app experience they want to when they're integrating this within their application, right? So that's where on-ramp and swaps come into the picture. So you have a dedicated feature for swapping. So this way you could allow your user to swap existing funds from other chains or other networks, get their desired token to interact with your application. Plus, if they want to, let's say, purchase Edge bar tokens because they don't have any tokens in their new wallet, they could do this with the on-ramp feature and get started with interacting with your application. So as for a developer, like all of this comes by default. You don't need to do any extra configurations to enable these features, right? So that way you give an in-app experience. Your users don't have to go somewhere else to source funds or just to get the funds that they need to interact with your application. They can do also within the same application. So that's the best part of how simple it makes on-chain UX and also for developers.
Yeah, no, awesome. Sounds good. And in terms of sort of the upcoming products and features, what are you most excited about, and how are these new products and features going to support developers building in Web3?
Yeah, I think the most exciting feature right now would be payments. You may see a lot of companies doing this, especially with stablecoins. So we have a very strong payment product that's in the pipeline. It's already out, but it's being sharpened even further. The best part about this is that you could power payments on all EVM chains, Solana, and you could do this with the existing AppKit integration. So if you have AppKit configured, integrating the payment option is going to take 10 extra lines of code. So that's how easy it is. And recently at Wallet Connect, we powered DTC Pay, which is a large payments processor in Asia, and they're going to be rolling this out on their point of sale devices in Asia and over 500 different stores. So you could already see this in action in just a few weeks from now.
That's awesome. And that's all on Reown Wallet Connect, is it?
Exactly.
That's also that's really cool growth. And how do you see Reown's approach contributing to sort of a more open, accessible, thriving building community on Hedera, within Hedera?
Yeah, I think I can share some historical thought process behind this. Is that initially whatever existed was open source. So Wallet Connect as a protocol or as an authentication provider was always open source and chain agnostic, which means any network that exposes a CIAP25 compatible value, they could basically get started with Wallet Connect right away, and wallets can adopt that, and so can apps. So from that, when Reown came to the picture, it's still free and open source to use, unless you're making 10 million RPC calls, which is not going to be free for sure.
Yeah.
But we have a very well-built free tier which caters to all audiences. So if you're a hackathon builder or if you're just trying it out, like, you're never going to worry about having to pay for things because you can get started for free right away without even entering your card information or anything like that.
I see. So they can use sort of up to a certain amount, and then they would have to start paying for that. But
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
quite a large runway.
Exactly. So they can make 3 million RPC calls a month, which I think is quite handsome. I don't think most applications make that much.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's really cool, and that's helping in sort of encourage developers to build and integrate Reown and be able to do that sort of all free until they're ready to go to the production environment and start scaling massively.
Yeah, and the best part is that as Hedera developers are integrating AppKit, the embedded wallet feature is free for unlimited usage, which means your users could be creating 50,000 new accounts tomorrow. It's still going to be free for Hedera builders. So, so that's also a great plus point.
Yeah, for sure. And looking ahead, how do you see Reown evolving over the next year? Sort of going into 2026, where do you see Reown?
I think like our huge focus would be large enterprises wanting to operate payments. So authentication is one step to facilitate on-chain finance. and the next would be making payments in the real world. So right now, although this is possible, it's quite fragmented, slow, and outdated. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. And as we head on into 2026, I think our biggest focus would be just powering payments and making sure that our wallet standards are adopted by different wallets in the industry. So they're also ready as we push forward these strides of introducing new features.
Awesome. I can't wait to see how you guys do in 2026. And what can the Hedera community expect from Reown as we continue strengthening the builder experience and expanding participation?
Yeah, I think we have a great ongoing relationship so far between the Reown, Wallet Connect, and Hedera team. I think the most promising one would be just dedicated content for the Hedera community. I feel like Hedera EVM is generally slept on by a lot of people, but it has a lot of potential. So the best way to unlock that would be to just create educational resources, right? So I think what they need to look out for is just dedicated content that helps them go from 0 to 1 on Hedera using AppKit in less than a few minutes. And yeah, that's what we really need to push for.
For sure. Yeah. And I was at Digital Asset Summit London a week or so ago and actually met up with some of the Wallet Connect guys, and they're really great, really enthusiastic, and it's great to see what a strong team you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And now, yeah, I've got some questions for you as well. Can you explain what RPC really is for those that might not know what it is? You've mentioned before it's sort of the backbone of the blockchain infrastructure. Could you expand on that a little bit for the people that are new to RPC?
Yes, of course. We like to say that nobody cares about RPC until it fails. But in general, every time you open your wallet communicates with the chains that you have the balance in, you have your history of transactions, and if you want to make a swap, same goes, right? It's all about access, all about connecting to the dedicated chain. So all of those applications are using the RPC, remote procedure call, right? And there are providers, different providers for RPC. We see amazing companies like Alchemy, Infura, QuickNode that basically provided this service. They said something that makes sense. A few years ago, they said, you don't need to run nodes. Just if you need an API call, we're going to run the nodes for you. And then they're selling this service. However, every chain has different APIs. I said RPC is the language of blockchain. So every chain has a different language. And in order to interact with the blockchain, you need to know the API. You need to make sure that they know the sync, and you need to basically find those providers, right? And it doesn't make sense, right? It is as if you need to run every time your own cloud when you're deploying a new application, when you start a new wallet, when you want to integrate to an exchange. And all this process, everyone is manually doing again. So we realized this need a few years ago, and we decided to build a layer that can aggregate all those node providers. For example, now in Hedera, there are different community people that are running those nodes, right? And why not monetizing them? So we basically take the budget that would be invested in different providers that may be reputable one, but it goes back to the community, and that sometimes in some ecosystems we see doing a better job from their most reputable one. So imagine that, the way Lava works is routing this request to the best providers that excel and rewarding them accordingly.
I see. So if an endpoint is underperforming, they wouldn't necessarily get as much traffic through as an endpoint that was performing the best and the lowest latency as such.
Exactly. So the protocol is building a scoring mechanism for each and every provider. It's based on the latency, the availability, uptime. The providers also need to stake Lava in a specific geolocation. to make sure and saying that they are accountable for the service that they provide in Japan, that they provide in North America. And obviously, if the scoring is good, they're going to continue and receive more and more service.
I see. And what happens behind the scenes, when a dApp integrates with the blockchain through an RPC, how would failures impact the end user experience, and sort of how does Lava Network help combat that?
So basically, in every interaction in a session with whether you're in a wallet, whether you any application, you always get a list of providers. So if one of them is down, automatically you've been routed to another provider. Basically, it gives you the top uptime that is available out there. We always try to have a few providers down the line, at least more than 3, that can answer your request. What about if your request is more sophisticated API? So this is also priced a bit higher based on the computation, based on the things that you're asking to do. And I can show you if you would like our pool page. Can I share something? How do I do it? Yeah, share the screen. Oh yeah. So what I started explaining before is we started as a decentralized RPC, kind of aggregate RPC and routing to the best node provider. But like around 1.5 years ago, a couple of ecosystem came to us and say, you are basically a public good. What do they mean by that? Is like, we have an infrastructure budget for the public RPC access, and we give it to reputable providers. We provide grants, but we don't know what we actually get. Why we're not going to give you this budget, and you're going to distribute that in a much more transparent way, in a way that everyone can see, and gives a real competition for everyone who wants to know, right? So that's what we started to do. And as you see here, it's the Lava Pools page, obviously different ecosystem. And this is what we sign now with Hedera. You see that, there are 13 already node runners, RPC providers that joined the pools. They served around 30 million requests. And this is the available pools for the short time. And if you are one of these node runner, and I think this call is also approaching the community, definitely, just reach out after the call, go to our docs. It's super simple. And why not? If you already monetize, if you already have your node up and running, why not monetizing that?
Yeah. And on that previous page there as well, where you were showing the rewards, that's the rewards for the node operators, is it?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what's available for the coming months for nodes just that's running the service, right? In more advanced ecosystem, we have 24 RPC provider, for example, in Starknet, and I think like this is a way for every community to give back to for every ecosystem, to give back to their community. Maybe I know Hedera by heart. I've been one of the first, and I know exactly how the node management system works. But I don't know how to promote myself and to say, wow, I'm running the best indexer, the best, Oracle service. So we want everything to be on this pool that goes back to the community.
Yeah, I see. And the best node will be rewarded for being the best node, won't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. And how does the work to reduce silent failures, and why is that critical for end user trust and adoption?
So I think there is a lower risk of the silent failures, right? If you think about fair ordering and no MEV front running on Hedera, so the user actions mapping cleanly to on-chain results. So it means that if the user going to be paired with a reliable RPC that reduces the confusing edge cases, like timeouts, like retries, partial state. So this will increase the user confidence. Right? At the end of the day, it's kind of an infrastructure that that needs to perform, to be able to be trusted. You cannot give this experience to a user when he opening the wallet and you suddenly cannot see the wallet balance, or getting an error when he's trying to do a swap. All of these things we're trying to solve, and now bringing that to Hedera.
Awesome, glad to see it. And in terms of, if I was a node operator, how easy is it for me to get set up with Lava and start receiving rewards?
So that's exactly the docs. I can send after.
We'll put that in the comments of the video so people can check out the doc.
But you need to have a sync node on Hedera chain. You basically install a quick Docker that routing the traffic to you. Everything is documented, and currently, Lava supports dozens of different chains. And we just did a recent refresh in the documentation. And you see, when I'm going on the documentation now, I see new things explained. And in the near future, we would like to see how agents are able to run the nodes for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to it. So currently Hedera supports both HTS and EVM environments. How does Lava's reliable RPC infrastructure help builders, whether they're using one or the other, ensure smooth operations for tokens, contracts, and mints?
So whether teams they use like the Hedera token service for native assets or deploy Solidity on Hedera's EVM, so I think that consistent RPC access, that it keeps the token operation means contract call that they will be flowing without rate limits that gotcha like you cannot get access to that, right?
No, it makes sense. And in terms of users using or going through Lava, how does that billing structure work? Do they pay per call, or is it how does that work?
Yeah, usually the community or the foundation decides about the compute. Like everything is calculated with the compute unit, but it's pretty straightforward. In all the EVM chains, you have the pricing of the basic EVM, the Ethereum one, and on top of that, you have other APIs. Depends on the language. But down the road, we're implementing dynamic pricing, which means that if you're serving a specific API calls on a more rural area that nobody else is serving, and there is a demand specifically in this region to have higher calls, requests per second, so forth. So we will facilitate that and create kind of a marketplace that acting and dynamically changing. I hope it makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So if there's higher demand in a certain area, the node operators would be paid more for being available in that region at a low latency and serve those transactions. Is that right?
Correct.
Awesome. And as Hedera continues expanding participation and evolving its node dynamics, how is Lava preparing its infrastructure to stay dependable and shield builders from potential network disruptions?
So I looked at the roadmap that Hedera looks ahead, and I think it's really consolidate with the node management and maybe more dynamic address book on the path that for the roadmap to broader participation. So RPC is what shields builders from the underlying network churn, right? And we've seen that in different ecosystem, when after a few months of service, actually the community node runners that were unknown had better service and went to the top of the providers for Lava rather than the more reputable ones, right? They focus on the community. It's their bread and butter. So probably they do a better job with the node.
Yes, yeah, no, that makes sense. But I suppose there's an issue recently with AWS, for example, where I think some networks were affected by that. How did Lava sort of fare during that that saga with AWS? Did it bring more users to Lava?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I'm here in New York because we're launching our first event in New York with Google. We have a couple of very exciting announcements today. It kind of shows how the backbone is so important and how it's so centralized on one hand.
Yes.
I think the best analogy to Lava is kind of Cloudflare for crypto, if you're familiar with Cloudflare. I'm always giving this example that when you are watching Netflix, usually, and when I say usually, I think it's 100% of the time, you're not really getting a message, please come back in half an hour, we're going to show you the movie, right? Or the series you want to watch. And it doesn't matter where in the world you are, you opening the service. And this is what Cloudflare is doing in the more traditional internet, right? It's a routing layer that always gives you access, doesn't matter where you are. And that's what we're building currently for crypto. With this collaboration with Hedera now, there are other users from different ecosystems that already using Lava. Now they see rewards in Hedera. They see that they can, in one click, can spin up their own nodes by only using the Lava service and bring their application to Hedera. I think it's kind of a universal layer that will bring much more activity to the chains we adopted.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And in terms of sort of where you see Lava Network progressing into 2026, sort of what are some big milestones you're looking to achieve?
Wow, there's so many. I think right now we work closely with the community about how the scoring, the rewarding system is being distributed. We are a new and upcoming chain and protocol, but we have kind of, we are in production in super environments. From companies like Fireblocks, other enterprises that using the service with millions of transactions per day. So the protocol has to evolve constantly, right? The things that we were drawing on the board, how the algorithm works, how the distribution, how do you prioritize different quality of service parameters. All of them are now hitting the real world, right? And once it's hitting the real world, you need to adjust and keep tuning the parameters that will obviously get us to the end goal, which is access for every chain. I'm super excited by that. For me personally, I'm in Magma Devs. We're building the smart router, which is a piece of software that Fireblocks pushed us to build. Basically, think about any enterprise grade service, right? If you are if you're a bank, if you are a market maker, if you're an exchange, you need constant access and performance to all the chains. So everyone kind of try to develop a smart router for themselves in-house. So this is what we developed and announced in the last 3 months. Currently, it's deployed in top exchanges, market makers, Fireblocks I already mentioned, and other security companies. That's why I'm in New York, and more announcement to come soon.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. And just to let everyone know, if you have any questions about Wallet Connect or Lava, feel free to put it in the comments. We'd love to address those. We also have our Hello Future Ascension Hackathon as well. There should be a QR code in the top right of the screen there. If you scan that, you can sign up and start building on Hedera and earning some rewards for doing so. I've got sort of a question for both of you now. It's to do with Hedera and its ecosystem. Looking at Hedera, what excites you most about where Hedera is and where it's going, and what do you look forward to seeing Hedera do?
So I think, if I may start, so I think the native services are designed for high throughput and deterministic finality in 3-5 seconds and up to 10,000 TPS. I think this is where I was excited about the partnership, and when the foundation said they secured the partnership with Hedera, right? We can support that with the robust RPC access, and I believe more application will need this very good service and performance in production. So I'm super curious about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rohit, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think since Yair went for the more technical side of Hedera, I'm going to go for a bit non-technical. So I'm going to give a simple analogy. A few days ago, I think there was one person who was building a project on the Hedera ecosystem. They were having a few issues with Wallet Connect and Hedera's compatibility. So instantly, Hedera team jumped into the picture and wanted to help them right away. So to me, I feel like Hedera particularly has a community-first standpoint. And I think that'll take the chain a long way, because I feel like this is being kind of slept on in the EVM side of things, right? So this is something I observed, and I think a lot of Hedera developers would absolutely appreciate that and just want to keep pushing more just for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been in the sort of Hedera ecosystem since about 2020, 2021 now, and seeing how far it's come is incredible. And where it's going, it's really great to sort of be on the front seat to seeing that. Is there anything else that either of you would like to talk about Reown or Lava? Is there anything else you want to share with the community?
Yeah, sorry, Rohit, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't have much else to share unless there's questions, but go on.
Yeah, no, I think you see more AI agents coming in. You see more application that needs, enterprise grade service. I'm keen always to see what are the killer features that those applications wants to develop that missing to them in the infrastructure level. This is how we can improve constantly. And obviously there is a specific cases in Hedera that are not related to other ecosystems. So please feel free to reach out to our team, our DevRel, and would love to contribute to the ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how Lava Network grows. I'm going to check it out myself after this call as well, Rohit. Loving to see where Wallet Connect is and where Reown is now as well. I don't think we've had any questions come through from the community at the minute, so no questions at all. But I'm sure there might be something that might pop up on as these videos get recirculated. So keep an eye out for that. Check out the Wallet Connect Twitter as well as the Lava Network Twitter as well. But it's been lovely having you both here today. It's been great, and thank you so much for making the time.
Great. Let's make infra great again. You see, now I can.
I like it.
Thank you, Luke.
Thanks for having us here, Luke.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks very much.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
The need for a more interconnected world is fueling new decentralized technologies and new ways of doing business. Hedera stands at the forefront of distributed ledgers, where every interaction is not only trusted, but fast, efficient, and secure. While traditional blockchains struggle with speed and fees, Hedera's network settles transactions in under 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny. And the proof is in the numbers. Hedera is uniquely governed by a council of the world's leading institutions, ensuring transparency, trust, and decentralization. It's no wonder Hedera is the leading choice for enterprise and DeFi use cases. Everything from real-world asset tokenization to AI data integrity. Discover the only decentralized network with the governance, scalability, and security to power the new digital economy. What future will you build?